Hello and welcome back to another video. This week's video is a little bit different to the last few vlogs that I have uploaded, which were much more of like a day in the life of me as a solopreneur running a six-figure business in London from my laptop, moving around, juggling client work, health, wellness, and everything in between. So make sure to check those out if you haven't seen them yet. But today we're doing a bit more of a sit down, kind of more strategy focused video, specifically on making sales or signing clients through social media, because I work with women day in, day out with online businesses who always have some sort of barrier, block, struggle, question with how can I make more money or how can I sign more clients through social media without using icky tactics, without cold DMing, without paying hundreds in ads. So I want to give you 3 reasons why maybe sales aren't flowing as consistently as you would like and what you can start doing to change that. So if you don't know me, I am Nicola. I am an online coach, business strategist, mindset coach for female solopreneurs wanting to grow to 6 figures organically, authentically, and without compromising on their freedom, because I know how important it is to enjoy life outside of the business versus just making loads of money but then feeling burnt out or unfulfilled. So if you are in a position at the moment where you're posting regularly on social media, you're getting DMs, you're having conversations, you're getting inquiries, people are telling you they're interested, but when it comes to actually signing those clients and getting those big invoices sent out, getting those big sums of money hitting your bank account, that isn't really happening, or at least not regularly. And when it does, it feels a little bit random or a little bit like luck. First of all, this is so common. I see this a lot. It's one of the main areas that I help my clients with. And it's not that you're doing anything wrong or that you're not posting the right thing. It's often a few shifts or a few tweaks that are overlooked because you've been following someone else's strategy, or you've been kind of relying on guesswork, or you've been just figuring it out as you go along. And I'm sure that that's got you to where you are now, where you are making some money, you are signing some clients, but it's not super fulfilling. It's not at those levels where you feel like, oh my God, I'm actually like super financially independent. I can save and invest abundantly. I can go on those spontaneous trips. I can buy my daily matcha without guilt or worry. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. 3 of the kind of core reasons why maybe that isn't happening and what you can do to change that. So if this sounds like you, and if you want to start making more money or signing new clients from social media, and by the way, this applies to newsletter, LinkedIn, Instagram, your website, like the tips that I'm going to be sharing are relevant online generally, but we're using social media as a kind of umbrella term here. So, number 1 reason, you are not fully backing your prices. Now, what I mean by this is you have a figure in mind that you want to charge, which feels quite stretching, which feels really exciting, but when it comes to communicating that price, these things happen. You suddenly offer a random discount. You lower your price when the other person you're speaking to hesitates. You suddenly add in an extra bonus month of support or a special deal to make it sound more appealing. And you physically are a bit nervous when you are communicating the price, whether that's on a discovery call, a voice message, maybe it's in person. When there is a sense of hesitation or lack of confidence or suddenly offering a discount, that is going to plant seeds of doubt into the prospect's mind. Because if you don't fully believe in your offer and you're not communicating it with confidence and conviction, the person receiving that information is also going to feel hesitation. If you feel unsure or if you sound unsure, they will mirror that uncertainty, which is why it's so important to fully back the price point of your offer and to practice saying it out loud in the shower, when you're on a walk, in your room on your own, so that when it comes to delivering it in real life, in a real sales conversation, there is no hesitation. There is no nervousness. There is no kind of, oh, well, I could, do your 20% discount because it's Friday. Or actually, I know I said it was, £3,000, but I'm happy to give it to you for 2,500 if you sign up today. Probably before you've even given that person opportunity to ask a question or to think. So the way that we fix that is by anchoring into the transformation of your offer. So what changes for the client when they sign up? How is their life going to improve? What difference is this going to make to their health, their business, their relationship? What is the outcome that your offer is going to support them to achieve? And a really good way of thinking about this is by the ROI. So the time saved, the results achieved, the confidence gain, the weight loss, the improvement in skin, the higher number of inquiries, whatever your area of expertise is. And if you're not sure what this is, pop it in the comment below. Let me know what your area of expertise is, what your offer is, and I can help you identify like a really compelling ROI that you can use in your messaging or in your sales conversations. So instead of just saying, oh, I offer a 3-month program, you want to say, I offer a program that helps you to confidently attract and convert high ticket clients without having to use paid ads. Or we work together over 3 months to help you lose, X amount of weight in a way that feels good to you and without having to cut out chocolate. So really be specific with that transformation. Don't just talk about the features of the offer. You want to talk about the benefits and the transformation and articulate that with confidence. Okay. Reason number 2 for why you're not converting clients as consistently as you would like on social media is your DMs are full of conversations, not conversions. So whether this is emails, DMs, maybe it's in-person conversations that don't really go that far, you feel like you're talking to a friend. You're having chit-chat, fairly surface level conversation, but they never move towards your offer. So you leave a lot of conversations very open-ended with no clear purpose or intention. And you're kind of in a bit of an awkward position where you're like, well, how do I now pivot that conversation from like coffees or holidays or her pet dog to how I can support her? And the reason why this doesn't support sales or conversation is because people want to be guided. People need to be told the obvious. We can never assume that they know what we do. We can't assume that they're not interested just because they haven't asked. So it's your job as the expert to lead the conversation in a way that helps them get closer to the point of them inquiring, to asking questions, to showing interest in what it is that you do as a business owner. So that small talk is not getting you any closer. It's wasted energy for you and it is for them. You're not here looking for pen pals. Okay, yeah, you want to grow your network, build relationships. I always say relationships are the foundation of sales. But if you're only having surface level chit-chat conversations that are never getting closer to converting, then that really is a waste of everyone's time. So how to fix it to start converting more in the DMs? You want to shift or move the conversation forward from general chit-chat to more intentional questions. Now, people always ask, how do I do this? Like, how do I move from talking about cappuccinos to talking about my 3-month program? And that's when you ask more intentional questions about what they do, what their goals are at the moment, what their biggest challenge is right now, something that they're excited by, and you're not going to go in after 2 exchanges and say, so what are your 3-month goals? If someone asked me that, I would probably ignore them and run a mile. So you have to make it authentic and natural. And I always say to my clients, like, imagine you were at a networking event or a dinner party with friends. How would you speak to them? What kind of questions would you ask them? Tell me a bit about yourself. Or, oh, I noticed from your profile that you've just run a marathon. Like, are you really into running and health and fitness? Or it looks like you are also following X person, someone else that you mutually follow. How do you know them? Like, you just want to start a conversation that is more intentional versus just sort of generic, unexciting backwards and forwards. And then you want to try and bridge the conversation to your offer. So you mentioned that you're really into health and fitness. This is what I do, or I'm actually a health and fitness coach. Like, have you ever worked with a coach before? Or you say that that's for you to decide based on your area of expertise. And this might be over a period of 3 days. It might be a period over 3 weeks. Some people take longer to warm up. Other people are much more invested and are perhaps much more obviously looking for what it is that you are offering. So don't rush that part of the conversation. The main thing is to be intentional with the questions that you're asking. And if after a few exchanges, they're not giving much back, they're giving one-word answers, they're probably not that interested. So by all means, let it go. And you can always pick up that conversation in a month's time, check in with them, see how they're doing. And the mindset here is you're leading, you're being intentional, you're adding value versus, oh, I'm being pushy or I'm being awkward. You don't want to be pushy. If you're feeling pushy, you're probably asking questions that aren't authentic to you. So have a think about what are some of those authentic, genuine questions you'd ask people at a dinner party to find out more about them. Okay, on to reason 3 why you're not signing as many clients as you could through social media is your content is not set up for sales. So, signs this is happening. People are liking and engaging with your posts, but they never inquire off the back of them. Your content is mainly full of like educational tips, but it's not talking about the bigger transformation or client case studies with a background context of why this happens. Now, these are the 2 biggest reasons I see. Just because you're being consistent with content does not mean that you're getting closer to sales. Sales come from inquiries and conversations. So that's the real marker of whether your content is working for you at the moment or not. So if someone has to guess what you do or isn't clear on what you offer, this is a huge barrier that is blocking sales at the moment for you. And without authority and proof in your content, then moving into DMs that are more sales focused can feel like a big leap. We want to give content that shows your credibility, shows your expertise, demonstrates that you are already creating these results that you're talking about, puts you as a thought leader in your space. And this is available for anyone at any level, regardless of whether you've just started or not, I can guarantee. So the way that we fix this and start to create more compelling, high converting content is really through 3 core types of content. Actually, I'll say 4, but authority, proof, and perspective. And then personal brand is also in there. So authority is where you share your expertise, your frameworks, your opinions, your ways of working, your methods that demonstrate that you have knowledge in the topic you are speaking about or the area of your business. Proof is client wins, testimonials, your own story, your own results, because I imagine you're going to be using the methods that you've used to create where you are, whether that's a healthy relationship, a successful runner, a business coach earning, X amount of money. Perspective is your unique methods, your ways of solving problems, your approach. Maybe it's combining different modalities or it's a course that you've created. And then personal branding is more about you, your values, your beliefs. And the reason why personal brand is super important is because people want to get to know the person behind the business, especially if you are a service-based business owner like I am. I work with individuals. So it's very important that people who invest in me vibe with my energy, my personality. They like my approach in the same way that I would look for that if I was investing in a coach or a PT or a massage therapist or acupuncturist. That energy, that vibe when you're working with people is so important. So rather than just giving tips that are very generic that anyone could Google and find themselves, add your twist on it, add your authority, add your opinion. And another thing to think about with your content is, what is the purpose behind the content? Every piece of content should either connect, educate, or convert. Not necessarily all 3, but what is the purpose of each post? Is it to have conversations? Is it to create a mindset shift? Is it to get them thinking, this is what I need, and reach out to you because they are ready to make the investment? So make it easy for people to engage. When you're using things like Instagram stories or you're asking questions in your post, make those questions easy for people to respond. Don't say things like, what are the 3 biggest goals you're working towards right now? People are not going to spend that time replying. Whereas if you say, is freedom a value of yours? Yes or no? Even when people say yes or no in the comments, that gives you a door opening to then message them directly and say, I love that freedom's also a value of yours. What are some of your other values? And then you're already starting that conversation and you're in the DMs, which is where we want to be spending more time with people who are engaged, interested, and are potential prospects for our work. So those are 3 of the biggest reasons. You don't fully back your prices, your DMs aren't leading anywhere, and your content is not setting yourself up for the sale. The moment that you shift these, you will notice a shift in the number of inquiries, the number of engagement, and the number of sales that you make through your socials. There are no icky tactics here. There is no pushy strategies. There's no paid ads. This is really you elevating your presence on social media. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe. I will leave the link to my newsletter in the comments below because that is where I send weekly newsletters full of my proven and tried and tested strategies for online growth on social media, as well as mindset tools and tips that you can use to really help you show up with confidence and conviction online, in person, in sales conversations. And I'm really excited as well that there is a new 3-week mini program called Sales Expanded. I'm going to be sharing first details of that over on my Instagram on the 15th of September. So make sure that you're following me at Nicola Charlotte Coaching. It's a 3-week mini program all about sales, converting, messaging, positioning, sales psychology to really help you elevate and expand the consistency and quality of sales that you are making through social media. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, head over to my Instagram. And if you're watching this months in advance, there will be an on-demand version available. So either head to my Instagram or send me a message and I will send you the link if you can't find it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what one action you are going to take after watching this. Pop them below and make sure that you subscribe and like so that you get next week's video straight to you and there's no missing out. All right, speak to you soon.